A to the K.
To the K.
To the K.
The Wyatt Sicks Money in the Bank plans revealed.
Update on WWE Star Returns.
We have the latest on Kamille's AEW status.
We have the latest on Ricochet's AEW status.
And WWE reportedly making some insulting contract offers. Anthony, when's all this coming up?
Right, fucking now.
Yes, it is.
Insulting contract offers.
Yeah.
Is that like 50,000? You cunt.
Maybe. I mean, we'll find out.
Okay,
We'll find out.
okay.
But yeah, so this is a news show. We like to talk about the news, yeah?
Oh, I thought this is a new show. I was like,
Oh no, news show.
News.
I should enunciate. Yeah, this is a news show.
Yes, it
But I
is.
figured we changed it up this week and we'll just talk blatant rumour,
Okay.
shall we?
Should we just lie as well?
Let's just lie.
Okay,
Let the rest
cool.
do. Let's give it a go. So, everyone's fascinated by the Wyatt Sicks at the moment. Once again, they rocked up again on Raw and scared off Chad Gable. And Jey Uso also hid and went under the ring and cried like a little bitch. So that leaves many
Great
to
booking,
think.
great booking.
What's the plans then for Money in the Bank? Because obviously Chad Gable is in that match, and so is Jey Uso. Now, the rumour has it, Anthony, that the Wyatt Sicks are actually going to appear at Money in the Bank, and they will get involved in the Money in the Bank ladder match, the men's one, and they will cost Chad Gable this match, and whether it's inadvertently or purposefully, lead Jey Uso to be the winner.
Well, I think this sort of almost feeds into this little rumor of like, because the Fireflies came out for Jay, that he's going to be a member of this, but he kind of ruined it. And
Yeah.
It's not disrespect to him. It's just like he's more amusing than he is
Yeah.
scary.
I don't think he's going to be a part
So
of it.
I hope that's not the case. It
Yeah.
just kind of feeds into that suggestion,
Yeah.
But I like the joke he's made more. He's like, I don't want to smoke. But, I like that. That tickles me more. So
Well-
I hope that they don't try and lean into like a suddenly dark Jay who's like, actually, yeah, you orchestrated the whole thing.
Yeah.
Chad.
Yeah. The whole kind of shtick of the Wyatt Sicks seems to be that they, like, if you watch the little video packages that they keep playing with Bo and Uncle Howdy, they seem to be trying to go after people who are hurting their family or aren't being loyal to their family and that kind of thing. So the stuff that Gable's been doing with Otis and Maxine and Tozawa is kind of why they're targeting him, because he's treating them poorly. Whereas Jay has obviously had his family treat him poorly and kind of kick him out the bloodline and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So it seems to be all around kind of like family values and all that, obviously tying into Bray and, Bo and that kind of thing. So,
I was hoping Vince McMahon doesn't come back then.
well, yeah. But yeah, I don't know, what do you make of this? Like, what do you make of the whole Wyatt Sicks stuff that's been happening?
It's one of them. Like, I think something bigger needs to happen soon, or people are going to be like, oh, come on. But I think right now it's feeding nicely. Like, what's in the box? What's in the box, Carl?
Yeah, it's very 7.
Yeah,
7?
7.
7.
And I think they're getting the right vibe, but I really hope something comes off on Money in the Bank that makes you go, okay, some shit's kicking off here.
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, if that's kind of like the theme, if you will, then there's a wealth of thing there, isn't there? They could obviously that means they kind of almost sympathize with Jay. Does that mean that at some point we're going to see them try and go for the bloodline?
Maybe. I mean, you got Bloodline stuff happening, you got Judgment Day stuff happening.
Exactly.
Factions are falling apart everywhere.
Yeah. So these just here to fuck factions.
Basically, yeah. We fuck factions. Yeah. But no, I could see something like this happening, to be fair.
Do you think we should warn the fantasy faction?
Run! Yeah, you know what? Shout out to the Fantasy Faction. We haven't done that in a while. If you don't play the Fantasy Faction League on Instagram, go and check them out.
Indeed.
The Fantasy Faction, 2 awesome dudes.
I believe
Great
the
community.
podcast is also now the fantasy
It
faction.
is formerly Cheap Pop Wrestling, now the Fantasy Faction podcast. So yeah, go and check those guys out and take part in the Fantasy Faction League, because it's a lot of
Uncle
fun.
Howdy gets them.
Yes, I mean you got to do it now because soon there'll be no more. But yeah, I don't know. I'm into it. Of course, I am. I was into the whole Bray Wyatt stuff. I'm into the Wyatt Sicks stuff.
Yep.
A lot of people making assumptions that Alexa's going to come back and stuff as well and get involved in things. Which
I actually think they should just not.
I don't
bother
think so.
Yeah.
But I know we're kind of veering off topic slightly here, but while we're talking Money in the Bank, I didn't actually predict Drew McIntyre was going to make it into the match. I thought Punk would cost him and stuff, but I mean, Punk's going to cost him that money in the bank because he's not going to win it, is he? So
I don't want that to happen, but I feel like that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly the feud's still going on, and the end goal here is a match between them two, isn't it?
Yeah.
As soon as Punk, repairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wyatt Sicks potentially involved in Money at the Bank, potentially costing Chad Gable, and inadvertently or purposefully are going to give Jey Uso the win.
Nice.
Which I know you'll be made up about.
Indeed. Speaking of Rhea Ripley, hang on, I don't think we segued that right.
Yeah, we didn't segue that.
But no, Carl, just a quick update on both Rhea Ripley and Asuka. So now Asuka has been.
Well, Asuka what?
Well, what's going on with the knee? I suppose. But yeah, so Asuka's been out for I want to say a couple of months now. I was going to say weeks, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, with an undisclosed knee injury and an undisclosed surgery being involved, and it seems like she may be out until 2025. Latest rumors suggest. So, hopefully nothing too bad. Hopefully heals up well. Hopefully we get her back as soon as.
It's a big return at the Royal Rumble, possibly.
Oh, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Would be cool.
But it seems to have been cut right in the middle of, obviously, Yuki Warrior's return and all that, which is awesome. So it's a real shame. But
that seems to just be going nowhere at the minute either, does it? Which is another shame.
But I think they kind of had plans and now they can't have plans now. It's a shame. It is a shame. But nevertheless, it seems like the latest update on Asuka's injury is 2025, Carl, which is a bit longer than I think we would have wanted.
Okay.
Rhea Ripley, on the other hand, suggestions are that she could be back as soon as SummerSlam. So obviously she's having some time off at the moment. She's getting married to someone who shall not be named. They are not WWE.
Tom. Kayfabe.
Yeah, kayfabe. But no, she took some time out. She's got married very recently to Buddy Matthews. And, it's one of them where, by the sounds of it, WWE don't have plans for her SummerSlam-wise, but they're sort of ready to slot her back in quite easily into their plans, whether that even be not necessarily in a match capacity, but in an on-screen capacity.
Yeah.
So I think they're quite prepared for whenever she wants to come back or whether she's ready to come back, then they were like, yeah, let's get this going. And to be fair, the way the story is evolving for the Judgment Day and for Dom and for Liv, that makes a lot of sense that they can approach that as sort of as soon as she's ready to come back, that they can just jump on it and get that segment done, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I get it, on screen, because there's going to be a face-off, there's going to be an attack maybe. It doesn't necessarily have to be a match straight out the gate, so that makes a lot of sense. So
what do you think the end goal is for this with the whole Judgment Day thing? Well, obviously, Rhea's going to come back and be like, what the hell's going on with Liv and Dom? But then there's stuff happening with Finn and Damien. Like, this is basically the slow end to Judgment Day. Yeah. I think they just go, there's not a lot of longevity here now. So they're going to start like making some good stories out of splitting them up. And I think that's just a natural order. Yeah. There's suggestion, and I hope this isn't the case, but the suggestion that like, I think somebody found an old clip of Finn Balor saying to Liv and I want to say AJ at the time that they need to do something about the Judgment Day. And I was like, this rumor, it's like, what's long-term booking? Naturally. Well, I mean, I was going to ask that because is Dom just a pawn in all of this? Because you've obviously got the bigger piece between Finn and Damien. Is it actually Rhea comes back, beats the crap out of Dom, he has some time off for a bit because he's injured and stuff as well. Then do you get Liv actually aligning with Finn and having Damien and Rhea versus Liv and Finn?
I mean, that could be the way it goes. I do think Dom is going to be played as the pawn in all of this. I think Liv is clearly manipulating. I think Rhea was obviously always in charge there, so that would make a bit of sense to me. But I do think there's perhaps some maybe truth to the suggestion of the Finn and Liv connection there. Yeah. But I mean, partly I kind of like, do we want what I don't want? I suppose is I'm not necessarily against that suggestion that you've made there. With, ultimately ending in a tag match. I just don't want them to try and continue the Judgment Day in a totally different form. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it's Finn and Liv and such person now. Yeah. I think if we're going to split it up, then we just split it up,
Yeah. Which, I mean, we'll come on to this more in a bit when we talk about contracts, but rumour had it as well that Finn wasn't necessarily offered more money to re-sign with them, but he was offered a compelling storyline. Now, to me, that compelling storyline isn't winning the tag titles with JD McDonough. So...
Well, me and Finn are very different people.
Yeah. Load of cash or compelling storylines?
My work off me a compelling storyline. I'd be like, you know what? No.
Exactly. So this next one, so Kamille, Anthony. So she left the NWA very early on in the year, so early January time, and it was reported she'd signed with AEW, and the belief is she has been signed with AEW since February. So where the fuck is she? So apparently,
Tony's just playing with his action figures, and he's like, "Oh yeah."
But like, so she signed with the company, getting probably paid quite handsomely because obviously she did speak to WWE and just not being used at all. So the belief is that she just hasn't factored into the creative plans at the moment. But
just sat there like, "Oh no!"
It's like, well, why sign her then? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's
gosh.
strange. She's doing the Shinsuke Nakamura. Like, oh, you're paying me to surf and like barbecue and shit.
Damn it!
Okay.
What's the catch after being Jacksonville?
But like, I don't want to kind of typecast it. But you talk about like the plans and all that. It's like, well, this is your new Jade, right? Like, there you go. That's one creative pitch.
I mean, she could come in and dominate. Like, they're obviously. I don't even think they're necessarily doing the wrong thing right now. Women's division wise, if you look at the title pictures, I know people like to talk shit about AEW quite a lot, us included. But you know, you look at the storyline wise, and you go moving Mercedes Moné into a program with Britt Baker. Yeah, makes absolute sense. Britt Baker is long overdue a comeback. People are fucking thrilled to see her back.
Mm-hmm.
She is one of the pillars of AEW. A very missing pillar, really, isn't she?
Yes.
There's something there. There's something on the tip of your tongue. Go on. Go on.
No, go on.
Okay.
Go on.
So it's great that what they're doing there, and then you obviously go over to the women's title side. And as much as I don't know how I feel about Toni Storm now forming a trio of sorts, let's see how that pans out, because it seems to be what they're doing now. I don't really know how I feel about that on the back of that match.
Well, I don't even know where that's going, because I think Mina Shirakawa's gone back to Japan now.
Was
so was that just a?
It was like kind of ended with like a show of respect and a handshake, and you know, a bit more than a handshake. And I'm like, so what, are we getting some sort of trio? I don't know. That was kind of strange to me, and I'm like, I don't know where they're going with Toni. Right, I honestly thought this would be like a betrayal and a start of a feud between her.
I mean, there's still time between now and All In, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
The wheels could fall off there.
You just feel like that would have been the prime moment to do it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Betrayal there, you know. Well, hey ho, we'll see what happens there. And I'm not saying that they've ran it bad. Toni Storm's run's been fucking awesome. So maybe they are just waiting for a gap in the market, if you will.
Maybe. But speaking of gaps in the market, like, you know, who better to fill it with than Kamille? She's badass, was holding NWA down for a long time, and like just sat on talent. It was kind of like, but yeah, I don't know where she fits in at the minute, because you wouldn't want her
let's
around
say
there.
she just suddenly rocked up and just totally fucked Toni Storm up. How would you feel about that?
I mean, I'd be like,
that's okay. This is awesome. That's
pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Yeah. But I don't know. It just feels mad that you've got her under contract and just not using her at the minute, because you know she's
I totally agree.
Could be a big star on a big stage. So let's see what happens, shall we?
Speaking of let's see what happens, Carl. Ricochet is it's all rumor mill, I believe, at the moment, is expected to make his AEW debut anytime now. And we don't have an exact time. We do know that his contract with AEW has come to an end. We've seen him move over to the alumni page. Is this like a deflection from WWE? And actually, no, he has re-signed with them. Who knows? Who knows? You know, let's wait and let's keep an eye on Twitter and see if he ends up on WWE feed.
The evidence is there, Anthony. Because Samantha's still there, and we know people can't. You know, if you're a couple, you can't
damn
work
near
in
impossible.
different companies.
Damn near impossible.
Can't be done. So he's clearly still under contract. It's all a ruse. And he'll be back soon.
Going back to throwing some shade on WWE, we just have to keep an eye on Twitter and look for him appearing on WWE Speed.
Yes.
Anyway,
I was going to just why you bring that up. I hate that concept. You know, I get it. It's like, oh yeah, let's do something out the box and go with the social approach and all that kind of stuff. But why isn't there like 50% plus of the matches just ended in time limit draws? Yeah. Why is every fucking match ended in 3 minutes? It just makes you think, well, why can't they do this in all the other matches?
Weird,
stupid.
Unless they're just deliberately picking stars that have no stamina.
That'd be a perfect. Just ask my wife. Yeah, I don't know.
But again, it's like that typical thing, isn't it? Why is a ladder so easy to climb until you're in a ladder match? You know, we have to suspend disbelief a little bit.
You just need to like paint the ceiling or something.
I feel like there's a reel there when your wife asks you to do some DIY and it's like,
true though, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of them typical tropes in wrestling, isn't it? Like, you know.
But first, like, you've got to prove that you actually can climb a ladder, you know, because that also happens.
Like, that always happens.
Yeah, beforehand.
Yeah.
So be like, oh, we'll be able to paint the ceiling for us the weekend, love. Yeah, let me just... You sat on the ladder with a paintbrush. Yeah.
I can do
then
this.
it comes to doing it, and you're like,
no.
That's good. But yeah, typical wrestling tropes. But yeah, it just bugs me, the whole concept.
No, I do understand.
I would be fine with it if more of them just end, like, because it's sure that's more realistic, innit, for them to end in draws. Because you've got 3 minutes.
You would expect so, like, but then it'd be shit to watch, wouldn't it? I mean, it is. So
yeah, sure it is.
I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
So, yeah.
But yeah, going back to Ricochet.
Yeah.
The rumor has it, obviously, because people remember in the banger of a match that he had with Ospreay, and they're like, "Oh no, it's going to be All In, and it's going to be Ospreay," and I'm like, "Well, they kind of haven't set that up." But I wouldn't put it past AEW doing something like that either. So let's wait and see, Carl. But there is nothing solid, despite what any social media or other news aggregator platform may tell you. There's no proof that he's gone to AEW. We just have to wait and see.
We do indeed. And speaking of things that we have no proof about, I just wanted to put that picture of Natalia on there.
Yeah, fair enough.
The audio listeners, this is why sometimes it's fun to watch.
Audio listeners, in case you wonder what the picture is, it's Natty's Tatties.
Yeah, it is. So again, this one I can't back it up with a particular source as such, but word has it, Anthony, that the likes of Ricochet, the likes of Dijak, and potentially the likes of Natalia are not so much being released, more so that they are actually being offered contracts. But what Nick Khan is doing at the moment is he's doing like a cost-benefit analysis and going, actually, I know you're making this...
We're doing a cost-benefit analysis.
You ate free sandwiches this week, and
we're doing a SWOT. What's your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats.
What Nick Khan's apparently doing is he's going, okay, so I know we're paying you this much now from the contract you signed, but actually, based on how much we plan to use you and the way you have been used and stuff like that, we're actually going to offer you this, which is substantially less. And so people are kind of looking at it and going, well, I want to make at least what I'm making now, kind of thing, if not more. Because you've got Big Daddy fucking sword swinging Drew swinging his sword in there going, pay me? And then they're like, yes. So,
pay me.
Every penny, Drew.
It's like,
yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I'm thinking of some kind of thing, like based on length, like, tell me when to stop.
No.
Exactly. But that's his check. But yeah, so apparently Nick Khan's going a bit ham and saying, like, well, actually, we're not just going to release people. If we see, like, value in you, we're going to offer you a contract, but it's not necessarily going to be for the amount you're already on. It might actually be significantly lower than that. So I think what a lot of people are doing is actually going, well, you know, I think that the word that was used was insulting. Some people have felt insulted by the contracts that have been offered to them. And that's why they're choosing, because you're not seeing as many kind of people being released. It's just their contracts are running down.
But this is the thing. Didn't Dijak say that he wasn't made an offer, though?
Dijak, though.
True. You know. I don't know. I remember him saying something like he was prepared to negotiate with them and he just wasn't made an offer. No, his contract. He was just told.
Well, I mean,
he was just told his contract's not being.
Is that just his way of saying that? Though he was prepared to negotiate with them, and they were like, "You can have this, or you can leave."
Maybe that's the thing. Yeah.
It's probably, well, no, I don't. No,
no. You don't have the power here.
Exactly. I mean, I feel for that guy, obviously, because he was doing decent in NXT and he brought him up to the main roster, clearly without a plan. And I can't remember who said this or whatever, but apparently Triple H wasn't best pleased that he went. So
no, I think the trouble is you can't just repair things by throwing them back onto an NXT and giving them some aviators to wear.
Exactly.
Like, doesn't solve the problem. Like, the Retribution did a lot of damage.
Did to be fair.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, the T-bar was set a bit high. Yeah, but I mean, what do you think of this as a strategy, if that is the case? So there's not a case of people getting released now, but just saying you can sign, but it's going to be this.
I mean, we'll never know the truth of this analysis. If he's doing some sort of analysis and it's based in any sort of accuracy, then you've got to wonder, like, you know, how careful of the likes of AEW are not going to be about what they offer, because you can't just go, well, we'll give you a good offer if, like, truly they were assessed to not be worth it.
Yeah.
So, like, the people that are releasing right now, you kind of get, there's no offense to Dijak, but you kind of get it, don't you? And you go, well, in terms of money you would draw into the company, I kind of get why they wouldn't be making big offers.
Yeah.
But similarly, you go, well, what should any other company? Like, Ricochet's probably got the most star power currently. and I could see AEW taking him on. And his style would probably fit AEW quite well. But
Yeah, I think so.
Should they make him a ludicrous offer? Probably not, no.
Well, again, he's not going to be a needle mover for them, is he? So it's tough because when you're Tony Khan, you've got like, you know, the checkbook isn't that unlimited really. Like it's deep, but it's not unlimited. So you can probably be like, he might have to weigh things up as well. And silently, I don't think it's reported often, but there's a lot of people who are slowly slipping away from AEW, not being kind of released as such, but technically kind of are. Yeah. Kind of those things.
Just
of like,
Tony forgot he had them.
Yeah, kind of like, no, you can go and work other independent dates, and soon it's like, now you're just back on the indies.
Wait a minute, he didn't come back.
Yeah. So
God damn it, I hate when that happens.
So yeah, it's an interesting one, but yeah, let's keep monitoring it, see the strategy. And
indeed,
it's a bold strategy, Colin.
I'm gonna have to find out what Nick Khan's analysis is, though.
Yeah. I know.
You're a bit of a statistician yourself.
Yeah, I think it's less like spreadsheets with Nick Khan and more just like he just draws a grid and it's just like no.
Tick boxes, isn't it?
And we go from there. So yeah, that was the news this week. Only 5 things we talk about, but we still managed to make it last 20 minutes. So that goes to show we can waffle. So yeah. Another little reminder, go and check out the Hot Tag Foundation. Awesome non-profit who do some great work at the minute, collecting wrestling action figures, memorabilia, and all that good stuff at local wrestling events in the UK and donating them to some very deserving young people. So go and check them out. Get involved. And yeah, if you are listening to this, thank you. Rate it 5 stars, please, because it all helps. If you're watching this, you know, like it, subscribe.
You're watching this, watch it to the fucking end, will you?
Exactly.
Moving our stats.
I mean, to be fair though, we could do what everyone else does and just be like, here's an advert after 2 seconds, or hey, Manscaped, do you want to shave your balls like me? And it's just like, you know, so at least
we got news for you. We don't shave them.
And on that note, we'll catch you on the next one.